explain how MRPs started, what they do, and why they're so good for one side but not good for the other.
They started in the auto body. So the insurance industry discovered that they could lure body shops into doing substandard work on these automobiles by sending them a ton of work. So all of a sudden, the guy who's not a very good auto body shop, they're not getting a whole lot of work because of their poor workmanship, all of a sudden is flooded with work because the insurance companies, because they're one of their preferred providers. The insurance company's sending them all this work. So who's their customer? The consumer? No, the insurance company is their customer.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're going to bite the hand that feeds them and say, hey, no, you need to do this, 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 and this, and because we want to do the work right? Of course they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And so that's where that comes from. So the construction arena is no different than that. So you got contractors out there that can't get work in a legitimate manner. So if they could, they would be so busy that they have no time for referrals from insurance companies. I mean, let's be honest. If you're exceptional at what you're doing, you're going to be very busy. And you don't have the time to deal with such nonsense, right?
Absolutely.
So who does the insurance company pick as their preferred contractors? The ones who don't have any work. So that tells you what kind of workmanship these guys do, because if they did exceptional workmanship, they would have lots of work. So who are these contractors loyal to?
The carrier.
The one who's feeding them.
Yes.
People don't bite the hand that feeds them.
No.
And so these contractors need to be honest with the consumer and say, I don't work for you. I work for the insurance company. Do you think they'll do that?
No, that doesn't happen.
Of course not.
No.
So that means they're being dishonest by omission. They're lying by omission by not revealing that information to the consumer, aren't they?
Yes, you cannot tell a client, I'm on your side, Mrs. Jones. I have your best interest at heart. I'm going to go the extra mile for you. And then in the same breath, this is my estimate. It is exactly what your carrier says.
Do you know that statement is insurance fraud? If you lie or mislead to a consumer for financial gain, like to get more work,
from the
that's
carrier.
Financial gain.
Yeah.
That's the definition of insurance fraud. If you mislead a consumer for financial gain, so you get a bunch more work from the insurance company, if the engineer misleads a consumer so they get a lot more engineering work from the insurance company, that is insurance fraud. And if it's over $750, it's felony insurance fraud. They are now a felon.
Amazing.
Because they're misleading the consumer or the insurance, misleading anyone. It doesn't specify. If you mislead in regard to an insurance claim for financial gain, that is insurance fraud.
That's happening on the MRP stage 10,000 times a day in this country.
It's happening. Hey, let's be honest. There's contractors that are lying, cheating, and stealing in regard to insurance claims. And they're also committing insurance fraud. Both sides need to be held accountable. Not just one side. We're not here to say the insurance company is rotten to the core, because there's lots of really good people in the insurance industry. And there's a lot of rotten people on the construction side. Do you ever hear the insurance company side say what I just said?
No.
That there's plenty of blame to go around on both sides?
Absolutely not.
You'll never hear that out of Steve Badger's mouth.
It's always, no, your contractor is greedy. We got an estimate from them for 50. Our estimate's 20. Your contractor is trash. Let's get you linked up with an MRP. What does MRP stand for our first-time viewers?
Managed
Repair Partner?
Repair Partner or something like that, yeah.
Don't you think
What does the word managed mean? Who's managing them?
Right.
Managed. They're managed. Yep. Someone is managing them. Who is that?
The carrier.
The consumer?
No. No.
It's right there in the name.
No, the company...
they expose themselves. They expose themselves inside the name.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yes, don't you think as a policyholder advocate, I consider myself to be one. I'm a member of the APA. You are too. I think you're even on the board. Don't you think as a policyholder it would be wise to even ask the carrier, hey, can you give me a name, the names of your preferred vendors? Because then as an educated policyholder, those are all the names I'm crossing off my list, right? So that seems like that should be part of that pre-adjuster conference with the client, with the policyholder. Hey, have you asked your carrier for a list of preferred vendors?
So I know who to avoid?
Because when you receive that list, we're not going to be on that list because we're 100% independent and loyal to you.
We actually work for you rather than working for the insurance company. So that list will have all the contractors that work for the insurance company.
And the MRP model is not sustainable. You made a post on Level the Playing Field earlier this week. If you're a young contractor, you're trying to break into the business, it might seem like, 10 roofs a week. I don't even have to go sell them. They just fall in my lap. What's the fallacy there, though? Where's the breakdown from the contractor set? I've never done that. I will never do that as a contractor because we are loyal to our clients, and that's not just lip service. That's 100% part of our core values. But why, if you're a young kid, you're 20, 22 years old, it's you and one other cat, why wouldn't you want 10 or 20 roofs a week? You don't even have to sell them, just put them on and collect your money. What's going to make that model fall apart for you business-wise?
So I got a call about a year ago from a young man. He sounded like he's probably 25 years old. He goes, I got a problem. I said, what's that? He goes, well, I'm a one-man shop. I did $1 million in gross revenue this past year. I said, dude, that's very respectable. Most people don't do $1 million in sales their first year. He goes, my problem is my lights were just turned off, and I don't have any money to pay my light bill. I'm having to borrow money from my mom to pay the light bill. I said, oh, you're doing your work for the insurance company prices, aren't you? And he goes, well, yeah, they refer me the business. He could work at McDonald's and have no risk, no potential liability, because, a roofer could fall off the roof and break his neck.
Yep.
I mean, he has potential liability, right, that he's never even considered.
Right.
He can work at McDonald's and pay his light bill. He doesn't have a business. He's not a businessman.
No.
He has a JOB with risk and liability. Why not, if you're going to have a job, go get one that has no risk and liability to you. The company shoulders all the risk and liability, and stop lying to yourself and having you believe yourself that you're in business when you're not. You're not.
Do you
have a job?
100%. Do you think it's oversimplifying it to say that if you are a managed repair partner, you are a subcontractor for the insurance carrier?
Yes. Well, that is what you are.
Exactly.
Because you're paid on a 1099.
Right.
You are their subcontractor.
Yes.
You're not an employee. You're a 1099.
Why doesn't this get more
that's
play?
the IRS rules.
Yeah.
This isn't my opinion.
No.
It's the IRS rules.
It's a fact. Why doesn't this get more play? Why isn't there broad sweeping outrage about this? Because it is outrageous. What you just said, that's outrageous.
There's some people that have been, shouting about it at the top of their lungs for years. So Michael C. Stone, in his book, Markup and Profit, on page 9, says that 35% of contractors in our industry are out of business by the end of the first year. 57% by the end of year 2, and 74%, 3 out of 4, are out of business in 3 years. 3 out of 4 are out of business. That's the highest attrition rate of any industry, bar
Amazing.
none. All right? And on page 7, he lists the 5 reasons why so many go out of business. Reason number 1, not charging enough for your work. Reason number 5 was not making enough profitable sales.
Yeah.
So I have people say, I did $10 million in business last year. Really? Okay, so what was your net profit? I don't know. They don't know their numbers. I said, do you even know where to find what your net profit was on your P&L? What's a P&L?
Oh, my God.
Well, you laugh.
No, I know it's true because I get DMs all the time from young guys, and I ask them very similar questions.
Bottom right-hand corner.
I don't have a CFO. I don't have time for that. I'm just trying to make payroll every Friday. If that's the way you're going to do it,
and so
for 52 weeks a year, that's the way you're going to do it for the next 52 years.
I don't have time to patch the hole in my boat. Right. I'm too busy bucketing water out of the boat to fix the hole.
Yep. Absolutely.
And your business is hemorrhaging. Here I am mixing metaphors. Your business is
Blood and
hemorrhaging,
Yeah.
and you're about out of business, and all you have to do is stop the bleeding.
Yes. In
Direct pressure.
In short, it does seem like a great hook, even a great close for a contractor. Educating, selling, policyholder or client would be to encourage that policyholder to get a vendor list from their carrier, and then to point out that they're not even on that list.
I think I would spend more time teaching them about the Unfair Claim Settlement Practices Act, teaching them how their adjuster is supposed to be professional and how he's supposed to be handling the claim. And I think I would spend more time teaching them what the carrier is supposed to be doing, so that way when the carrier doesn't fulfill their promises, they can call them out. Hey, wait a second. Number 4 here on the Texas Unfair Claim Settlement Practices Act says yada, 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 yada. Can you explain to me why you just said what you said a moment ago? Imagine a consumer that knows what their rights are and willing to stand up for their rights. You know, it said that the person who doesn't know what their rights are has none.
Right. Yeah, again, back to that term, weaponize the client. Once you've armed them with the knowledge.
You weaponize the truth. That's what you do.
Absolutely.
That's what's been weaponized is the truth.
By laying it out for the client.
And then you load the consumer's gun with bullets. It's the truth that's the weapon.
Absolutely.
And so you educate the consumer, and all they're asking for the carrier to do is one simple thing. Fulfill your promises and indemnify me for covered losses.
Yes.
That's it. That one sentence.
Yep.
Fulfill your promises to indemnify me for covered losses. I never agreed to substandard construction.
Yep.
And I will never settle with you with substandard construction. Never.
Indemnify. That's it's an important word to know the full definition of. What does that mean to you when you say it?
What it means is that if I have a $50,000 truck and someone T-bones me, then if that truck is repairable, then it's put back in pre-loss condition. And in addition to that, because my truck has a diminished value now because it's been wrecked, that I've been compensated for that diminished value also. So now I'm made whole. I'm in the same financial position after the loss as I was before the loss. Before the loss, the truck was worth $50,000. Now I still have a truck, and it's back in its pre-loss condition, and I've been compensated for my diminished value. There's diminished value claims in property policies also.
Yeah.
Hardly anybody ever teaches that either.
No.
I need to teach that. I haven't taught that in a while.
Yeah.
So I need to teach that again so folks will understand what diminished value means.
The position I was in financially, or the position my property was in before the loss or the peril, that's the position I need to be in at the end.
You ever notice that it's not called home insurance? It's called homeowner insurance. The home isn't insured. The homeowner is insured against a financial loss to their property.
Yes.
There's 6 different coverages in homeowners policies. And it's not just the home. The home is just one of them. The dwelling coverage, that's the home. APS, which is appurtenant private structures, that's the other structures, any structure or outbuilding set apart by clear space from the dwelling. Number 3 is the contents, the unscheduled personal property, UPP coverage, all your stuff. You know how you can tell what's contents? If you would move to a new house, would you take it with you?
Mm-hmm.
That's your contents. The 4th thing is additional living expenses. If your house isn't livable because of the event, a fire or whatever the case may be, tornado, and you have to move into other living quarters, then they owe you for additional living expenses. The other 2 are liability stuff. If there's property damage or bodily injury on your property to a non-resident, then you have liability coverage, that's lawsuit protection, and you have medical payments to, ambulance and hospital care and things of that nature. Though you notice that out of those 6, only one of them is your home. Mm-hmm. It's not home insurance, it's homeowner's insurance. Yep. The homeowner is being protected against financial loss. So that's what indemnification is. The consumer is made whole, and they're put back in the identical financial position they were prior to the loss. They may elect to not do the work, but they've still been put in the same financial position they were, well, except for the replacement cost benefits. They only
And
do
that
ACV.
that should be the goal of the carrier, but it's obviously not, especially those that stress the MRP.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Because consumers are ignorant,
Right.
and they see them as unsophisticated. I mean,
Yes.
that's the actual wording that these executives use. Because we're dealing with unsophisticated consumers, we can offer 50 cents on the dollar, and they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Then we'll shout to the top of our lungs that contractors are greedy bastards,
Right.
and there's lots of contractors that will do it for our price.
Like you said in a previous video, obfuscate.